Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donnelly Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. We're having so much fun here today, aren't we already, Randy?
That we are.
Oh, my gosh. We're here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. I'm Susan, and I'm here with Randy Donnelly. We are the owners of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, folks. You got to come out and see us. We're here today to determine whether or not you have items at home that you may want to sell at auction. And we have a good reason why you should sell at auction today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And that's coming up.
It's coming up. So busy week at Donnelly Auctions, as always. When is it not busy? But one of the things that happened during the week was the Show of Shows in Louisville, Kentucky. How did that go?
Well, of course, I wasn't there. Mike was. My brother Mike attended the Show of Shows with David Hilp, our military expert. And it was fabulous. I mean, the show was crowded. There are so many buyers out there, folks, for military relics if you've got anything.
Well, they say it's the Super Bowl of military collecting.
Well, that show particularly is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best show that there is. And that's why we go to it. We go to promote our upcoming auctions so that we can get top dollar for you on your items that you consign to us.
That's right. And one of the next auctions we have coming up, huge. I guess there was a lot of buzz about it at the Show of Shows, is our ordnance collection, the Jim Geibel collection that's coming up March 16th. We'll talk about that more in this segment and in the next segment.
Sure. But don't you have a question? One of your trivia?
I do have a trivia question today.
It's become a staple now. People all want your trivia questions.
Well, because I want to tie it into some of the items we're talking about. And today we're talking about ordnance and the big auction March 16th. Because there was so much buzz around it, I had to look up and come up with a question. So one of the items we have in the auction on March 16th is a U.S. M203 grenade launcher. Uh-huh. This particular item is the Cutaway Award display that was given to, his name is Erwin Barr, was born in 1920. He was the inventor and developer who played a pivotal role in the creation of the M203.
Wow.
So the question right now of the day, folks, is what 1983 movie used an M203 grenade launcher that was custom made in this classic? And I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
Okay.
All right. That's the question of the
trivia.
day.
Well, we're always talking about upcoming auctions and everything, and we don't want to keep repeating ourselves week after week. But this one deserves it, But somebody, Susan, the other day said to me, "Oh, you keep talking about the ordnance collection. What is ordnance?" And what a surprise! I mean,
that's a good question. We're so focused on what we do here that sometimes we throw out terms and words that not everybody knows.
Expect everybody to understand what ordnance is.
Well, let's explain it.
Well, ordnance does fall into many, many categories. I mean, shells,
artillery shells
off of big bullets and casings and everything. A lot of GIs brought this kind of stuff home. Just as souvenirs and everything. And during World War I, a lot of these early shells were turned into trench art.
Mm-hmm,
that's another big, highly collectible item. But also ordnance is hand grenades. We always say anything that goes boom.
Yes, it's the things that go boom auction. It's in the description.
And missiles.
So stick grenades, hand grenades.
My goodness, there's just so many.
Tear gas cans. There's just so many great items there.
Yeah. There's just so many things that fall into ordnance. So please, it definitely, it's tough when we don't have a TV screen here or a movie screen to show you. We're trying to explain this over the air. So just go online and
go to our website at DonnellyAuctions.com. There's a little red button there that'll take you directly to the ordnance collection that's already been online for weeks, so you can see everything. We have 917 items.
We even have an atom bomb.
An atom bomb. Yeah. Yes, we do. That's very rare for sure.
Extremely.
Just like this grenade launcher thing I was talking about, it's extraordinarily rare.
Yes.
So there's a lot of great things like that display piece.
And the whole point is you could have these things at home and don't realize the value. So often as items get passed down from one generation to another, maybe one of the World War II vets in your family who has passed over the years, gave this to a son and then a nephew and so on and so forth. They just kind of get passed down, and people don't really understand necessarily the value of some of these things they have around their home.
That's right. So 917 lots coming up March 17th. It's Ordnance. I'm a spelling bee champ. So it's Ordnance, Ordnance, not Ordnance, not Ordinance. So for those of you who might be searching for this, leave out the I.
Well, one of the biggest things in military collecting over the years that people make a mistake with is cavalry and cavalry.
Cavalry, two completely different things. That's for sure.
So
that's where we're going today with some of the things we're talking about is the Ordnance Collection March 16th. Just a reminder, too, we have Toys and Trains coming up March 23rd and 24th.
Right. So,
real quick, Randy, I know you were also in Florida this week. Tell us what happened in Florida.
We're mentioning that we go out all over. I mean, my brother was, in Louisville at the Show of Shows. And at the same time, I took a run to Florida to look at a collection based on the fact that a lady, in fact, sent me photos of her husband's collection.
Was she a listener of the show? Did she say?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know. She heard of us somewhere.
I didn't ask. But she, nonetheless, contacted us about this military collection. Looked great in the photos. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I run out because I figured, we'd get it here for the May auction. We got another big military collection coming up in May. And when I got there, I'm looking and I started comparing the cases in the house to the photograph she sent me because there's items missing. There's a couple helmets that aren't there that were in the photos. There's a couple guns that aren't there that were in the photos, medals and everything. And I said to her, I said, well, you just sent me these photos. I said, 3 days ago. I said, and there's items not in there. Are these old photos? And she says, oh, no. I got a call and somebody wanted to come out and look at the collection.
No.
So I have sold some things. Well, unfortunately, the good Japanese sword and flag from a Marine with all kinds of provenance are gone. Certain guns are gone. Certain helmets are gone. So I bring this up because when a collection, a good collection gets cherry picked, and that's what I'm going to refer to this. When you allow folks the best items to be taken out of a collection, it becomes very hard to sell to the point where even I have now turned down the collection because the good key pieces that help sell the lower end. Every collection isn't all
highlight pieces
all
are
100% great items. Every collection is going to have, highs and lows. And in order to sell the low merchandise, the low end merchandise, you got to have the bait, the good pieces to bring the people in to get them excited and interested. So, now we're not going to be taking this collection.
Wow, darn
because
it.
She went for the short dollar and.
So what are we looking for May then? Because our next gun, ammunition, and military auction is May 17th and 18th.
Sure.
So let's talk about real quick what do we need for that?
Well, we're always looking for items we keep telling you folks, provenance. If you've got items where you've got, any military relics, uniforms and weapons and that with provenance where, the GI or who used it, who brought it back, all kinds of little, photographs or stories about it and everything. It just adds to the value.
Yeah, provenance is everything.
In our May auction, we've got 2 groupings coming up that have stellar provenance, and that's going to make a big deal. Big deal.
Great. Well, and that's why we're bringing it up, because this is the year, folks, 2024, for you to downsize, sell off your collections, because people are buying.
Right.
They're buying like crazy. So give us a call at 815-923-7000 or email us at consign CONSIGN at DonnellyAuctions.com.
And, you know, in the next segment, Susan, I want to talk about a prime example of why the auction route is the way to go. And this lady who just sold some things on the short end to get some quick cash may have shot herself in the foot. No pun intended. But the reality is, you know, sometimes you sell for the quick cash and you're not getting all that you hoped for.
So the moral of this story is to call us first and ask us before you sell anything off, folks, because we're here to give you a no obligation chit-chat about what you have and give you some direction on next steps. So when you email us, tell us who you are, where you are, send us some photos, and I will definitely get that information over to our experts. Okay, coming up next, Randy's got an interesting story. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour right here every Saturday on AM 560, The Answer.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donnelly Auctions here with my partner, Randy Donnelly. We are located just 60 miles west of Chicago. Have you been out to Union lately? Folks, come on out and stop by Donnelly Auctions. We'd love to meet you. But, you know, Randy, the other day we were looking at the Military Trader magazine, the February issue, and you ran across a fascinating story. Let's share that with our folks today.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I really think it's important to bring this up. As Susan said, this is an article out of the Military Trader, one of our trade magazines. Anybody can pick it up, as a matter of fact. But here is a story about a African mask. You know, a carved African mask. A lot of this stuff shows up. Souvenirs are brought home all the time from vacations and trips and everything, and they get thrown in the attic, down in the basement, all over. And very often, you know, again, you don't know how it was acquired by the family, what year, how, you know, and when some of these things were bought overseas, people might not have even known then what they were buying at a flea market or a sale or what have you. But here's an African mask that recently was picked up by a gentleman at a sale, and he paid the equivalent of $157 for this mask. Okay, so he knows he's got an interesting piece, but what's it really worth? He doesn't particularly know, so he, in fact, goes to an auction house. And they said, well, you know, this is a really unique piece, something we haven't seen before. We suggest, if you really want to know the value, you got to invest a little. But we suggest you have what's done called carbon dating, where they send the mask out and they can actually tell the age and vintage of this tribal mask by carbon dating it. And they felt it was worth the money and a good investment to do this test. So the auction house sends it out and everything. When the mask comes back, it turns out to be something really old and great, and they pre-auction estimate this mask at $300,000 to $400,000.
Wow!
Now the man's just paid $157 for this mask.
Good buy.
$300,000 to $400,000 is an incredible. Where else are you going to get that kind of return on your money?
Right.
Okay, so they put it at auction. What happens? The mask ends up selling for $4.4 million. $157 investment. Or my point being, this is the type of thing that you could have sold at your garage sale for $100, $200, thinking that's all the money. When in fact, again, if you don't have these things checked out properly, you know, I always say it's like throwing away your lottery tickets without checking the numbers. I mean, you just don't do that. And the same is true with artifacts and antiques and everything. And I mean, this isn't the norm. I mean, the fact that a $157 item goes for $4.4 million, but it happens a little more often than you think, because a few years ago, Susan, you know, I tell people all the time, we're always looking for bars and back bars.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And of course,
bigger the better.
And anything with provenance,
of course,
makes it all the better, right?
Yep.
So at any rate, there was a soda fountain back bar that had provenance of being from the World's Fair in 1893. It was a great piece, but it was at auction with a pre-auction estimate of, like $150,000 to $300,000. So they expected it to go for good money. And obviously the owner would have sold it in that range of $150,000 to $300,000. They knew it was a good piece, World's Fair, great provenance and everything. But once again, it goes up at auction, and you can go online and actually see the video. It's
we watched the YouTube video last night.
It's so interesting. $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Well, same thing. And then it hits like $1.2 million, and it pauses, and it almost sells. Whoops! It goes off again for
someone in the audience. He's not going to let it go.
And this back bar ends up same thing, going for. What was it? $4.5 million. And these are the things that can only happen at auction. And even an auction house like ours, I mean, we've had some very good hits over the years where people are expecting a lot less money, maybe $1,000 for something ends up going for, 10, 20, 30. Look at that license plate that we sold last year. Nobody ever expected that license plate to hit, over $30,000. And the same thing is true with a Coca-Cola vendor, a vending machine that we had, Susan. If you remember, right before the auction, the owner said to me, I want to pull that machine. He said, I just got a $12,000 offer on it. You're never going to get that kind of money. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you're not pulling that. It's in the auction. It's advertised. And he said, well, I want it back. I got a $12,000 offer on it. And I said, just let the auction run. I said,
right. We have thousands of people looking at it,
exactly.
Not just one person with one offer.
And it ended up hitting $35,000.
Yep.
And again, he would have sold it for $12,000, been happy, never knowing that he could have gotten so much more.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I say this all the time. Auctions are really one of the best ways to sell items that don't have a definite value. I mean, when you're selling things like, automobiles and everything, you can look up prices of most items.
It'll sell for what it's worth, definitely.
Exactly.
But some of those unique pieces and extraordinarily rare items, you just never know.
But, it's interesting. Now we're seeing a lot with the Donnelly Group, our real estate division, that we're getting so many offers on homes that are higher than full
the
price.
Listing price, yeah.
So the old days of going in and seeing a house listed for X and thinking, well, I'm going to buy it for less than that, making a lesser offer, is not the case, because now people are coming with offers higher than full price.
And it really only takes two people to fight over an item.
Two people that want something, right?
That's for sure. Yep. It happens a lot, and we would love to have a $4.5 million hit, wouldn't we?
Well, so ladies and gentlemen, call us with what do you have?
Yes, what do you have that you don't know about the value? Because we can definitely give you, an estimated value for sure.
You bet.
All right. Wow. Good story. That was so did anything happen out of that? It all ended up all well and done? Well, I got a good commission and...
Well, there, unfortunately, sometimes, people, I'm going to say they get greedy and things end up in court. I guess the man who originally bought it for $157.
The guy that sold it to him, you mean?
Well, it's my understanding that it's now in court because somehow people feel they got cheated. But
oh, my gosh. That's a lot of money to play with,
see how
for
that,
sure. Wow.
Ends up.
So, again, do you remember how to get a hold of us, folks? You give us a call at 815-923-7000 or send us an email at consign@donnellyauctions.com. Just give us some brief information. Keep it simple, and then we'll give you the next steps. What else you got, Randy?
Oh, I got all kinds of stuff. We've got that big, beautiful tower clock. I wish people could see that in the lobby of our location. you know what? It's not on the website yet. We've got to get that up on the website so they can see it.
We got to get it photographed. Yeah.
And here's what's interesting about this tower clock. Big, huge mechanism for a tower clock. And we called our good friend Rory DeMacy, who's a clock expert in tower clocks especially, and he told us where to look for the serial number, and he was able to look it up from the original sales records.
They were handwritten. Yes.
Yeah, back in the day, the clock was sold in 1886, and now we've even got the location of the school that it came from.
That's right. It came from the Durfee High School in Fall River, Massachusetts. And one day it just stopped working, and it took them 12 years to repair it and set it back to the right time. But there's a lot of interesting history on that.
And provenance is everything. Yes. So even we can help you with provenance.
Right. And they named it after the son who had passed away, and it chimed based on his age. So I think it chimed 29 times.
29 times, because that's how old he was when he died.
And they named the school after him, too. So great story about that clock tower, which will be up in our April Spring Classic, folks. That's coming up. Oh, it's right around the corner. April 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Wow.
All right, so check our website on that, too.
Lots happening.
If you have any questions, give us a call at 815-923-7000. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, and here with Randy Donley. We're the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're talking about items that have value that you might want to put up in an auction this year. We have several auctions coming up, pretty much 1 or 2 a month. Go to our website at donleyauctions.com to see the calendar.
And, you know, Susan, we're always adding to the auctions, and that's why we keep bringing up auctions, so you know what kind of items we're looking for to add to auctions. But what do you have? You know, what kind of interesting collections are we not talking about on the air that you might have and say, gosh, I can't believe they're not talking about X, Y, and Z? You know, if you've got interesting topics for us, let us know.
We had a lady email us, several weeks ago. She had a cigar ring collection, like the little rings that go around cigars.
Wow, cigar bands, yeah.
Cigar bands. Yeah. And she had it all framed in a night. Who would have thought people collected something like that?
But I think we've got that now, don't we?
I think we do.
I think we can sign that, and that's going to be coming up in our April auction, where we sell a lot of Tobackiana. So if you've got tobacco items, you know, jars and especially signs. Oh, my goodness.
Tobacco signs so well. But you know what I like are those lighters, the old tobacco light, and the cutters, too. Oh, my gosh. Great items in that whole category of Tobackiana.
Well, of course, cigars in itself is a big thing, you know, today. And listen, you know, our good friend Sean Thompson with his cigar shop, you know,
he might need a good cigar lighter. We'll have to look for one for him.
Absolutely, that'd be gret for his shop.
Okay, so that's coming up April. I want to correct the date. It's actually, we're going to add a day, Thursday, so it's going to be April 18th. To the 21st. So it's a 4-day auction in April. We are still looking for some very interesting collections.
Right. And, you know, when I say go to our website, we've got all kinds of interesting information. You know, we've talked recently with our good friend Greg Grams from Volo Auto Museum, and Greg has opened the Volo Vault to Donley Auctions. You know, so many people have been after Greg for years and years. What kind of stuff do you have in storage? Oh, you must have all kinds of stuff. We saw this item before. It's no longer on display. You know, he changes his displays all the time, and items go in the Volo Vault.
That's right. And you guys did a video of it, which is on our website, and it also went on email. And in the video, Greg mentions that he told his employees, just close your eyes and let them take whatever they want. Don't say anything, just let them take it. So we did. We had like 2 truckloads, didn't we?
Oh, my God. No, 4.
4 truckloads. My gosh.
And
wait to see what was in the Volo Vault.
Such great, fun items that Greg gave us for the April auction. And so, you know, kiddie rides and just coin-operated stuff.
The T-Rex animatron, and you'll see Tucker the auction dog modeling on top of it.
And one thing that you don't see in any of these videos yet are all the neon signs, all the automotive neons that Greg gave us, because first thing, Greg being Greg Grams, said, the first thing I want to do is get all these neons over to the neon shop and make sure they're all perfect before I sell them. I mean, that's just classic Greg Grams.
But we didn't let him do that.
No, he did. Yeah.
Oh, he did do that.
So all the neons are over there, all being touched up and repaired, so that when you buy them, they're going to work perfectly.
The one day I'm looking forward to in the April auction is the beer sign collection, because a couple months ago we did a huge beer sign auction. Those sold so well. We were very surprised at the prices that some of those got. I have to say we were, yes. So the second half of the same collection, it's the same ladies' collection, right?
Right.
It's going up in April. So beer signs sell really well, too.
Yes. So, in a state that we haven't been talking about that we really needs to get some publicity, and it'll be up on our website relatively soon, is the Wilkie Estate.
Oh, what's that about?
Oh, my goodness. Pamela Bardot is one of the, again, premier estate people throughout Illinois, but she specializes in Chicago in high-end real estates. And she invited us out to the Wilkie Estate, which was the penthouse, 25th floor of 1500 Lakeshore Drive.
Oh, my,
and
yes.
We pulled out all kinds of great pieces of art and everything. But then we were called back for Mr. Wilkie's, Mr. Wilkie passed, and he owned a company, very important company called Do-All. And so we pulled all the artwork and the important furniture and everything out of the offices that Mr. Wilkie, maintained here in the Chicago area. And that is all coming up for auction. Again, the Wilkie Estate, we're working with Pamela Bardot. She's an incredible woman.
Is that furniture and everything coming up in April?
No,
you're going to do separate?
This is going to be an auction unto itself. It'll be the Wilkie Estate auction.
Some beautiful pieces,
and
for sure.
Oil paintings. Oh, my goodness. There's got to be 100 oil paintings that were in his offices.
Okay, well, Definitely watch our website for dates coming up on the Wilkie Estate. The Volo Museum items coming up in April. We have a license plate auction coming up at the end of April. We'll talk about it in our next segment, too. So don't forget, folks, give us a call at 815-923-7000 if you want to talk to somebody. Better yet, email us at consign@donleyauctions.com with the who, what, where, and why, and some photos, and we will definitely give you the next steps, because this is the year. Time to downsize, time to minimalize, time to get rid of your stuff. Call Donley Auctions. All right, we'll see you in the next segment. Thanks for listening to AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. Thanks for sticking with us during that break. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with my wonderful partner, Randy Donley. And there is another auction coming up, Randy, that I really want you to talk about, because it's one of the several that I'm looking forward to. But I love cars.
Oh, my goodness.
Can we talk about the Mancuso auction again?
We certainly can, and we will continue to. One of the reasons that it's not getting, our publicity push on it yet is because we still haven't picked a date for it. It's going to be this summer. Yeah. And in all likelihood, June or July and everything, but we'll be promoting this on our website big time shortly.
And it will be at the Mancuso location, Lake Forest.
Right now, but one thing we have to understand is due to the location and everything, this is going to be tough to get into. It's going to be pretty much an invitation-only auction. So those of you who know Rick Mancuso and our friends of Rick's, get your tickets early to be able to get into this auction, because you're going to be. It's not going to have a cost. We're not charging for tickets, but it's going to be limited space for the live portion and the viewing of this auction, which will be right in Lake Forest at Mancuso Motors. It's just, wow.
Tell us what's going on there.
What an automotive collection this is. Because, Ferrari items are just so rare because they can't be reproduced. I say this all the time. It's just a very limited quantity. Now, here, you talk about provenance, you're going to be buying all these Ferrari items directly from Rick Mancuso. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't get any better. One of the biggest Ferrari dealers in the entire country, and certainly in Chicago, there's just nothing like this before. And the signs are not just Ferrari, but he has Aston Martin, Maserati displays. He has engines, 12-cylinder engines out of Aston Martins and everything. What great items for your man cave and to make coffee tables and stuff out of. There's limited edition prints, reception desks from the Ferrari. I mean, this is all official items that come directly, from the Ferrari dealership. Official posters. I saw a bunch of racing slicks for the tires. I mean, there are going to be automotive, there's going to be cars there also. I mean, of course. Rick is certainly putting in some extremely rare vehicles that are going to go in there. And, of course, we talked last time that Richard Petty's number one car is going to be there. We're going to talk to Rich and see if we can get him out for this auction, too.
Richard Petty? You're going to have Richard Petty here?
Well, that's why, Susan, why we have not picked the date yet for the auction, because we want to sync it with
oh, my gosh. If anyone knows Mr. Petty, tell him to give us a call. Might give him my number, 815-482. Sure. No, I'm kidding. It's 815-923-7000 if you want more information on the Mancuso Motors auction coming up this summer. But, when we talked to Rick, was that 2 weeks ago? Yeah. We had him as a guest on the radio show. Fascinating stories about him being a former ski instructor and a race car driver. The man has led the life. But he said that his favorite celebrity buyer of his Ferraris was Michael Jordan, who bought several Ferraris from him.
He said he was such a great salesman. Everybody wanted to drive what Mike drove.
Of course.
So, but, and I'll tell you, I just can't say this enough about Rick Mancuso. You meet this gentleman, and I would have expected heirs, I'm Rick Mancuso. Yeah. Anything
Not
but.
At all.
What a gentleman. And that's why his business is so successful, because he's the real deal. He's just a very nice person, the type of a person you want to do business with.
Right. We look forward to working with him. And,
this is going to be
Richard
a good
Petty,
one,
maybe
folks.
Michael Jordan will show up. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. So watch our website for that. Again, the website is Donley. It's DONLEY, auctions.com.
And, Susan, other auctions that we've got to talk about is this Las Vegas gallery of autographed.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
They're
all these
all over
autograph
the office,
collection.
Yes.
I mean, there's items, there's presidential autographs, movie stars, music celebrities. I mean, military generals from the Civil War all the way to president. There's autographed guitars. It's just...
They're all framed pieces, right? Big framed pieces with the autographs in. It's like a kind of a shadow box kind of a thing, but there's a guitar in a frame that's autographed.
Yes.
It's just great pieces.
All kinds of great. These are all works of art. I mean, every one of these is a standalone. If you need something for your office or home that's just intriguing and beautiful and valuable, this is an auction you don't want to miss.
That's right, and those are coming up in the April Spring Classic also, April 18th through the 21st. So watch the calendar for that.
You bet. And, I was on TV last night watching a Capone documentary. And so every time I just see Al Capone, I just say, we're in Chicago, folks. We need gangster memorabilia.
Right. Well, we've got that 1921 Cadillac that looks exactly like the cars in the movie.
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. That's coming up in April,
If you have or know of any gangster memorabilia, we're looking for, all kinds of things.
That's right. And don't go anywhere. We still have one more little bit of information. I have the answer to our trivia question. Again, it was what movie in 1983 where they used an M203 grenade launcher? Oh, you knew the answer to that one right away.
I did.
This is probably an easy one. Again, give us a call at 815-923-7000 or email us at consign@amfm.com. at DonleyAuctions.com. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour right here every Saturday at 1 o'clock on AM 560, The Answer. We're not done yet. Stay tuned for the answer to the trivia question.
The Donnelly Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donnelly Auctions Hour, and I'm going to go ahead and give the answer to the question right now because I asked our producer here, Keith, and he didn't know the answer. But hold on, let me ask you again.
What did you say, Keith? I was born when?
I was born in 82, didn't watch a movie in 83, but this is a classic. Okay, the M203 grenade launcher, which we have in our ordnance auction in March 16th, was introduced in 1969, and it was used extensively by the U.S. military during Vietnam. So in the movie, they had to fabricate the grenade launcher because they could not find anybody that would sell them an actual M203. Back then, though, it was
they didn't know Donnelly Auctions.
It was technically illegal to possess one, of course, because it's classified as a destructive device. But it was used in the movie in 1983, starring Al Pacino. The movie is Scarface. And what is the quote from the movie, Randy?
Say hello to my little friend.
That's perfect.
Tony Montana.
Oh, my gosh. That's what he used. If you know what I'm talking about, you can even check for the scene, just of that scene on YouTube and watch that. It was something I saw this morning. What a way to wake up. But anyway, that's the answer to this week's question.
There you go.
All right. So go ahead. You have other stuff you want to talk about.
Well, it's just more stuff that we're looking for. We mentioned that we've got autographed guitars and everything, but we are looking for guitars, high-quality guitars, all kinds of, we're looking for stuff like Gibsons, Fenders,
there's some friends of mine that I know in the bands that I watch in the Chicagoland area. You know who you are. And they're selling their guitars on Facebook Marketplace. No, you guys, call me. Susan at Donnelly Auctions. I see you're posting your guitars, your amps, all that kind of stuff to sell it to a private buyer. But let's put it into auction, guys. Give me a call.
Don't guess. Stuff with provenance brings unbelievable money. We sold a Martin. What was it?
The D15.
Yeah. A D18, wasn't it?
D18. Okay.
And it sold for $38,000.
It was a great sell.
And that certainly could have been hanging around in your closet somewhere. So don't forget, call us.
These are the types of things we're looking for. If there's something you are looking for to buy, also let us know that. Just send us an email because we have a lot of connections and we know where there's a lot of things happening. We can find it for you.
And very, very often, folks, people will say to us, I appreciate the auction, style of selling, but I just want to sell my collection.
I don't want to wait,
And we'll buy. We'll buy your collection.
Well, that was the plan in Florida. You were going to go buy the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't advise it because we'll get you more money because all we're going to do is put it at auction.
Right, exactly, because we do have 4 different bidding platforms that we use. We have thousands of bidders online from all over the world. This is the way to do it. And then if you want to come out and actually bid live with us, you can come out to Union, Illinois. We have comfortable seating, complimentary food and beverages. You can place an absentee bid. So you don't even have to be here. Just call us, and the form is online too. And that just means that you're going to have a max bid, and we bid on your behalf up to your maximum. And then, of course, my favorite way is the phone bidding because I actually get to talk to you and bid on your behalf so you don't miss out on any bids. If you want to, go one more increment, I got you on the phone and I can encourage you to do that. Yes, that's right. All right, so a lot of information today. Give us a call at 815-923 if you have any questions, or email us at consign@DonnellyAuctions.com. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donnelly. And we'll see you at the auctions.
Check our website at DonnellyAuctions.com. Thanks for listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Thanks for listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonnellyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonnellyAuctions.com.